appreciate the support they received from the state of Alabama, he said, and look forward to being a part of the entire peanut industry.
I love living in a rural community where neighbors help neighbors, even if we don't always agree on sports teams, politics, or the COVID-19 vaccines. We all have our opinions. Getting vaccinated is your choice, and no one can make your mind up for you. Talk to your healthcare provider about your questions to help make a decision that's right for you. GetVaccineAnswers.org has the latest information to help you decide. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Cooler today with plenty of sunshine. High today 64 to 69, then clear skies tonight. One of the coldest nights of the season so far with a low of 47 to 59. Plenty of sunshine Wednesday. High tomorrow 69 to 72. Then partly sunny for our Thanksgiving Day Thursday with a high of 72 to 75. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
That's right. It's time for Master Gardener, Carol Ann Baldwin, to come and give us her sage advice on In the Garden with Master Gardener, Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you this morning?
Good,
A little chilly, I see you got on long sleeves and a vest.
And a vest, yeah, thermal longs, and it's still chilly out there.
And it's only going to get to about 63 or 64
yeah,
today.
it's going to be a bit.
With the wind.
Yes. It's This is what they call it. The next event. It's a chilly one. It's a cold one.
I'm looking out across the runway.
Yeah.
And you see pine trees because it's Florida, and
right.
In the deep south, you see southern yellow pines. That's what you
right.
see. But sprinkled throughout are some hardwoods.
There's a little bit of color.
And here it
there.
is,
yeah.
November. Something you usually don't see about this time. There's some oranges and reds out there.
There's gum trees.
Leaf changes happen. Yeah. That usually happens a little later in the season for us.
No, this is about that. You figure it's the end of November, so
yeah, this cold snap's helped it along.
It had, and the earlier one too, because
right.
it is a reaction to day length, temperature changes, moisture, all of that stuff. It's it's a reaction to stresses in their environment.
Right, and yet a couple days ago, Monday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday it was raining pretty good.
Not at my house.
Yeah, it rained here. It was raining up here. Rained all morning till about 9 o'clock, but it was that misty type light rain.
I guess
so we only got about
little bit.
I got less than 0.2 of an inch at the house. Is that just at this time moisture. Of year? Is it good?
It's moisture. I mean, it's how and a lot of our cold fronts don't always come in with a lot of rain, or certain areas like I think they said the coastal part of Florida got rain. Let me see, what was it? Friday. My sister drove from South Florida up over to the Gulf Coast for the weekend, and they hit downpouring rain.
Yeah, south
of
us Friday.
It was 2 hours driving.
Yeah, Friday south of us there was serious rain.
Yeah. And then, we had none, or at least not at my house.
Very blustery Saturday, too.
Yeah, it was a breezy day Saturday over on the more like to the Gulf Coast, not course.
I like golf courses.
Yeah, I know. But it's cool. There's not too many people out there going, well, it sure doesn't feel like the holidays, 'cause it's cold.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the holidays.
No, it should be about 80 degrees.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we should be getting ready. Okay, where's the picnic table going to go outside and for Thanksgiving?
My wife is actually contemplating what we're going to do if we have to eat inside, because we usually eat outside on the lanai.
Right.
And hopefully Thursday's supposed to be 72, 73.
It should be okay. And the lanai, I was going to say, if you've got a space heater or something, you could have it.
She does.
It could be blowing underneath the table.
She
kind
does.
Of thing. But yeah, I mean, 73 is not too bad, and it's supposed to be gorgeously sunny.
Right.
So the air, if it's not too windy, should be a really beautiful day.
Plants are kind of like in a confusion right now, aren't they, though? Because it's going to go from really chilly, and then it's going to warm back up. Then it's going to go chilly again over the weekend, next week.
And
then it's supposed to warm back up to the 80s.
I think I actually have some. I stepped out on the porch today going, okay, who's coming in? And they will spend probably the rest of the week inside. I'll make sure that they're well watered, and I've got a few of them that are going to come in. Anything, I would say this is probably the cold front that if you've got more houseplanty like tropicals, this is probably the time to go ahead and bring them in, find that nice bright area that you're going to leave them, and leave them. Let them be in there. Let this be their winter home until next spring, till we stay consistently warmer in the evenings. Just because, like you say, those fluctuations, those aren't real happy, especially for, like I said, those houseplanty type of plants.
Well, I was told by my wife, Mom is coming into the lanai this weekend.
There you go. Yeah, because it's just going to be a little bit chilly.
Right. She's coming into the lanai, and she'll stay there for the winter. Because the sun comes into the lanai
and it
gives
gives
it
a
enough
nice
sun.
bright area, and she can be watched to be watered and everything.
And the frost will stay off of her because she's in the lanai.
Right.
But in the lanai, because it's still an outdoor area,
right.
If it gets
below
freezing for a couple hours, she still needs to be wrapped up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because though the lanai will prevent frost from landing, from settling on her, it doesn't stop that air temperature from getting down. Right. I mean, a lot of times you can just move her a little closer to the house, tuck her in a corner, wrap her up, and she's apt to be plenty warm. But like I said, that this is the time, especially when we're contemplating our decoration, or we're already beginning our decorations for Christmas, of what's taking up space in certain rooms. Of if you have plants that are more sensitive to cold and are going to need to be in this, find their spot too, find their little niche, find that little table or plant stand that they come in and that they set on and set that up, get them ready, get them well watered. I would probably, if they've needed or you have concern, it would be a good time to do an insecticidal drench of some kind, to make sure that you're not bringing anything in that's going to hatch out while it's a little warmer in the house.
We got a phone call, but I want to ask you after the phone call. I got something to ask you about Mom. That I need. It's a concern because I have a cat, and we'll talk about that. Yeah. But first, good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Calling.
Yeah.
Say, now they're calling for possibility of upper 30s, and I know Gainesville might have some patchy frost. With my Hawaiian Tie, do I need to cover that up with that kind of a temperature, or am I okay for a while yet?
You should be okay until it starts to hit like 32.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was getting a little bit nervous. I thought maybe I better cover those guys up because I didn't do it last year and I lost them because I didn't know anything about Hawaiian Tie. And this year I certainly want to be careful with them so I don't have to go through all the baloney that I did to get them back up to normal.
Right. And they may still get hit this winter. I mean, that's a possibility. But yeah, usually Hawaiian Tie are usually pretty good. Down to they might look a little sad. You might throw a frost blanket around them just to be on the safe side, just so that they don't stress quite so much. Because a lot of times that's what begins to happen. Plants that are a little more tropical, when our nighttime temperatures are staying in those lower 40s, upper 30s kind of thing, they begin to stress. And then when we have a little bit colder snap, they really take on that stress or get damaged. So you might consider, because they're in the ground, throwing that blanket around them, even if it's just done around the bottom portion of it. Just sort of, put like a little scarf around the bottom, and it just will help to hold that heat a little bit closer, the heat from the earth, because that's all we're doing with a frost blanket is using the heat from the earth to keep that air temperature up underneath that blanket just a little bit warmer.
So we're not really too concerned about the leaf on top?
Right now, I don't think we're going to have frost. But, like I said, if you take whatever your sheet of choice or towel or whatever, it's going to come partially up around that plant. But I don't know how tall yours are right now. It just may not be real feasible.
Yeah. They're about between 2 and 3 foot.
Okay, you could probably throw your blanket over them. I wouldn't be super concerned because they're not talking about frost for us.
Okay.
It's just, that's when, like I said, for houseplanty type things, if these were in a pot, I might find a place in the house or on a lanai or, a Florida room where they would spend the winter. That way you knew that they'd be okay without any issues. But because they're in the ground, they have a tendency to get acclimated to where they're at a little bit. But as they're talking frost and things like that, yeah, you're gonna need to cover those.
Yeah, speaking of frost and cooler temperatures, whenever it gets close to a frost, and if we do have like a little bit of a breeze or wind overnight, it seems that the frost is not a big problem. Why is that? Because
the breeze doesn't let the frost settle. It keeps the air circulating. The air is moving. The frost can't settle down. And that's why a lot of times if we have our temperatures may drop down into, 32, 34, 36, but if the breeze is blowing, we're okay. It's the temperatures that begin to cause the damage at that point.
Oh, okay. I know a previous phone call, I told you I saved some bed sheets and stuff. So I think to be safe, I think I'll throw those bed sheets over the plants just to make sure,
Yeah. Where they're talking, you're in a little bit colder spot there here in the county, and that that your temperatures and I too saw this like 38 kind of thing, 36, 38 degrees. Overnight for the next couple nights. It's going to be a bit chilly, but if you've got the breeze blowing, frost isn't going to settle. So I think that's why they're talking on that. And we're not dropping to freezing yet. Not down to freezing temperatures.
Yeah. Well, see, where is the official temperature for Ocala? Where's it?
Out here at the airport.
Right here.
Right here at the airport.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of times you get the temperature for Ocala, and I look at my thermometer, and I got a very good thermometer. And it's I'm always a little bit either one way or the other on it, so it's not always exactly the same, know.
And that's it. Everyone has a microclimate, and Marion County is huge. We are a massive county. In order to get a temperature, and we reach all the way from rivers.
Summerfield and Anthony will have Summerfield and Citra could be between 5 and 10 degrees different.
And then you take in Lake Weir. Lake Weir has about a 7 mile area. I think it's 7 miles. It's not a wide band, but it's that the temperatures are different than everywhere else. Yeah, because of the water.
Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving, Hugh.
Before we went to the call, I had a question.
Yeah.
Bring my mom inside. She's a daylily, peace lily.
Peace lily.
Peace lily.
Yep.
My cat likes to eat her, but then my cat gets sick from eating her because they don't do well with peace lilies.
No,
and they get stomach issues and everything.
Yeah.
First off, I don't know why most animals, they know that if they eat something that makes them sick, they won't eat it. But cats, for some reason, will eat this plant. Is there anything I can do when I bring it into the lanai, like spray lemon on it or something that will keep the cat but won't hurt mom, but will keep the cat from chewing on it?
I would probably look at some of the repellent type things. I probably wouldn't do lemon.
'Cause I know cats don't like lemons.
Right. I'm not sure if there's a couple products out there that are called like no chew. But it's moreover for, keep the dog or other, say rodent-y type animals from chewing on things. But some of the other maybe repellents, initially it might not be real fragrant for us, but they can continue to smell it even after that scent goes away, and maybe a few spritzes of something like that might help to keep that.
Because I don't want to hurt plant.
No, you don't want
but
to.
I don't want to hurt the cat either.
Right, but that's the same kind of thing of using the repellents outside to keep the squirrels away or to keep the bunnies out of the flower beds and things like that. Similar kind of stuff. Some of them come in a liquid spray form. Others are granulated.
So I have a question I have to ask you.
Yep.
It's about potpourri.
Yeah, potpourri.
No, potpourri.
Potpourri. Potpourri.
I guess you could say potpourri, but
Yeah, or
it's
the
spelled
sachets.
spelled
It's spelled
potpourri.
potpourri. Yep.
It's spelled deep South, we phonetically do things.
That's it,
Potpourri. But
Lafayette County.
so yeah, Lafayette. Yeah. It's up in Georgia, folks.
Yep.
If you don't know, that's a you problem, not a me problem. But I recently gave my lovely wife a bouquet of yellow roses.
Mm-hmm.
She has now hung them upside down in an area where they can dry out.
Right.
Her question is, how long does that process take? And is it something that could be hurried along if you stored it in like a darker area? Potpourri, how do you make it effectively?
Well, I was going to say, with her roses, if she wants to dry them to use them as a potpourri ingredient, she might even pop them in the microwave or just take the, because they have the stems.
Right.
I'd probably, if I wanted to hurry it along, because you said it's hanging up in a non-used, so not humid room in the house.
Right.
And with a window open.
With a window open a lot of
times. So
that's
helping with that. But you figure even with it being a little drier, we are in a humid climate. It might do better would be at this point if the petals are starting to come off, or just snip them off of the rest of the stem.
Pull the flower bulb.
Pull the flower off of that. Put it on a cookie sheet or something lined with several layers of a couple layers of paper towel, and just spread them out on that. That's going to help. Put them even on a microwave-safe dish. Pop them in the microwave on like half power to help to take that moisture out.
How about a 200-degree oven?
A warm oven, lay them out. Yeah, just because a lot of ovens will actually have that warm setting. Get it to where that just set them in there for probably take a few hours to get that to dry, and just that'll help it along. Then you're finding those essential oils. They say adding some mint, dry some mint in with it, or lavender, and things like that.
Cinnamon
sticks, and that orange peel, lemon rinds. You guys are juicing all kinds of stuff. You can those kind of flavors or flavor scents will work as well. In order to do that, actually, because I Googled it. I've never made my own potpourri or sachets or whatever you call them, satchels, things, that go in the drawer. But there's a lot of different recipes out there. It's the fragrances that you like, moreover than anything.
Yeah, and I buy her flowers quite. Like last night, I gave her another set of. I made beef stroganoff from scratch last night, and I've never made it before.
Okay.
So I bought flowers in case the food sucked. She would still have flowers.
She would have something nice. She'd have something nice. There you go.
And I don't know whether it was actually good or not, but she said it was good.
I
ate it.
Yeah. Well, if you ate it, you liked it. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a human garbage disposal. What do you want from
the
me?
step up above the dog?
Exactly. Right above. Not very far above. But potpourri is one of those things that you can take different flowers and all from you. Like right now, we have magnolias in bloom. It'd be probably great to take some of those magnolia blooms down and dry them out.
Except I've always found that magnolias only smell once they drop everything out of them.
They don't, yeah.
Then they smell. Then it's like, okay, you got to set it in that dish of water and just let it be that fragrant. You can use gardenia blossom as well. I said orange peel, lemon peel, the cinnamon stick, clove, anise, but they've also, some of the ones where you see the dish or you buy the bag that you're going to sprinkle out in there. The flowers are just, they're dried flowers, and then you're adding the fragrance by adding essential oils or some of the other natural oils like lavender and mint.
The flowers
and
are just
like
there
that.
to soak it up.
A lot, yes, because
they're there for looks more than
anything, right? More than the rest of it.
So when you make potpourri, the plants aren't to smell.
Correct, unless it was something like the lavender.
Right.
Lavender,
jasmine, something like that.
Something that's very, very fragrant, and that holds its fragrance as a dried plant material.
Is jasmine or that kind of plant one of the hardiest plants you could have? And I'll tell you why. We have a trellis on the side of the house that is full of jasmine.
Right.
And in the springtime, amazing.
Yes.
In the wintertime, it dies back. It's just this viney,
It's
nasty-looking thing. We
Oh.
clear it off the roof. Some of the leaves go away, but not all
I
of
was
them.
gonna say it's an evergreen.
Well, no, it doesn't drop like ivy,
Right.
but it loses some of its leaves. We're able to take it off the roof where it's trying to grow under the
Right,
shingles and all
right.
during the wintertime.
Right.
And then in the spring, boom,
It's back. Yeah.
back without any.
Right.
We don't do anything to protect
No,
it. We
you
don't do anything
feed
to feed
You
it.
don't,
nothing.
yeah, don't feed it. Don't water it. Let it do its thing, like you said. Whack it back and tame it some
Yeah.
a couple times a year, maybe. I would say probably it is one of the hardiest vines. I've never really seen it had. I guess it
Honeysuckle's
does.
pretty. I guess honeysuckle's pretty
But
pretty hard
honeysuckle
too.
does die back.
Right.
Yeah, and that Carolina jessamine, which is the yellow flowered one, we always called that one the usherance of spring, though, because I always found it to be one of the first bloomers in the spring season. But its leaves are real far apart. So I think the jasmine, if you're looking for something that'll give you privacy as well, if you're covering a fence, it's going to get
it gets
dense
thick.
enough.
Oh.
It's going to get dense enough, and then the fragrance and the flower blooming is just fantastic.
And then the
Yeah.
honeybees and the
Yeah,
hummingbirds.
Everybody comes by and visits that, and
We got a rhododendron bush
okay,
out of control.
okay.
Is it okay to trim it up right now?
Has it bloomed yet?
It's got blooms all over it.
I would wait till it's done.
But once it's done
blooming.
blooming,
Once
will
it's
it be
done
safe to-
once it's done blooming, I would probably I'd probably still hold off until about February.
And it thrives. It wraps around the magnolia tree base.
Okay.
Oh, and
Is it a rhododendron or is it a big azalea?
no, it's not a big azalea.
Okay.
This is a rhododendron.
Rhododendron.
And it's going in. It looks like it's got right now. It looks like Albert Einstein's hair.
Okay, it's just spiked out
It's
all
going
over.
up. It's
Now
going
those
sideways.
you can go through and trim off if you're needing to bring it into attractiveness. That's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, that's
But I'm amazed at how well it thrives at the base of that magnolia tree.
Yeah.
It's under the canopy of that magnolia tree.
right, and it's in
and
the
just
ideal location
thrives.
for it. Ideal location.
So it's a
for
shade. It's a shade type plant.
It. Right.
Because it thrives under that magnolia tree.
And that's
And the magnolia tree seems to be happy with it being there.
But they were probably. I was going to say it wasn't. That tree wasn't huge when that was planted.
No.
Yeah,
But now the
so
magnolia tree's huge.
It's massive. Right.
That magnolia tree's probably 25 foot tall.
Yeah.
But the canopy stops about
Okay.
2 feet above the rhododendron.
Okay.
The canopy of that magnolia.
It's just been cut. Yeah.
Right.
to
And I
where
guess
it's
the rhododendron maybe keeps stuff on the lower trunk of that magnolia from growing, maybe?
Well, it's shading it. So I mean, but usually I don't think magnolias don't usually sucker out like other
Okay.
trees. So so that once that was pruned up.
But I
so
can
that
shake
they
the
could go under.
rhododendron up.
Yeah.
Just don't cut it back.
I just wouldn't cut it back. No, I would wait till I call it that early spring, that late winter, mid-February.
And she doesn't want to cut it back. She just wants it not to be
not to
look like Albert Einstein's
right,
hairdo.
not to be on the wild side. So just going through and just kind of just cleaning that up
With
a
the
little
clippers
bit.
and shaking
yeah,
it up.
Yeah, just shape it up a little bit.
That's perfectly fine
and
for
just
that bush.
because you want to enjoy your bloom on it too.
It is
Yeah.
a beautiful blooming bush.
So that's fantastic.
Or is it a bush or a tree or a
It
bunch
would be a
of trees?
shrub. It would be a shrub if it's kept
It's like
closer. to
it's
the,
like
Yeah,
5
but
foot,
that's still- but that's a
almost
shrub.
6 foot tall.
That's still a shrub. It doesn't become a tree until it's a single trunk.
Right.
And that's
Kind of like red tips. And I don't know
Right,
what the
yeah.
actual name of red tips are.
Potpourri.
But red tips, I know people that plant red tips as a privacy fence.
Yes. It used to be red tips. The red tip Fotinia were a huge hedge plant, front wall where just to dress up a house and this and that until they ended up with a lot of fungal issues and came out of favor. I think a lot of people have not used them in years. So if somebody was looking at them again, it might be something to consider again, bringing back into a landscape. But
My buddy Todd up in Georgia, he has acre of land where his house sits in the middle. He surrounded his entire lot, front, back, all the way around,
right.
in Redtips. Yeah. So literally, you can't see his house, and they're like 10
Well,
foot. They're like 10 foot tall now and squared at the top.
Right, right.
You can't see anything about his house till you pull past his Redtips.
And that's and because you said he's up in Georgia,
yeah.
More than likely the climate up there is a little bit happier for them here in
Central
Florida.
Yeah, he lives in Middle Georgia. He lives in Middle Georgia.
With our humidity, and I think we've changed some of our landscape practices that we're not running irrigation on things that are established.
Right.
And I think that's where we made, and it was a practice. It was something we didn't understand and that we understand a little more, is that once something is established in the landscape, additional supplemental water is usually not necessary, and we can, not waste the water that we don't have to waste, saving our utility bills if you're living in a city limits that charges you for your water usage.
Well, the city's fixing to refund all that money anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's the fire fees. That's right.
But on that we don't need to be doing that once, and so we're cutting back on some of those fungal issues, some of the over maintenance need when we do things like that. So we might be able to bring some plants back into favor.
Well, I know
lack of a better word.
I know right as we go to break, that red tip is a fantastic privacy fence.
Yeah.
Because it's dense and you can't see through it.
Yep.
Fantastic privacy fence. This is In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Carol Ann Baldwin on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.